What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with RK Outpost, and Ghost of Tsushima is finally available for PlayStation 4, and gamers are loving this game. It is absolutely stunning and breathtaking visually. The gameplay is so tight, and more than anything, it is fun to play. And unlike The Last of Us Part 2, it has no agenda to be seen. And that's one of the reasons that several reviewers may have not given it the best review for the critic score on Metacritic. But we're going to take a look at that, talk about what to expect, and why the difference is so stark between these two games. We can see here on Metacritic, 83% from the critic reviews. And you can go and look through all these things, see who has given it a good one, a bad one. Digital Download give it a 60. And you can go and look at all the critic reviews. But one of the very interesting things that people noted that, of course, we already talked about here on this channel, but it was for a smaller game. You can't give a user review yet. Please spend some time playing the game. Come back to review it starting at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on July 19th, which will be tomorrow at noon my time. So this was instituted after The Last of Us Part 2, after so many people started reviewing the game after it immediately came out. And we know, we've seen what happened with The Last of Us Part 2, the review bombing that has gone on both sides. We even did a video breaking down that data, how there were nearly 3,000 zeros given that first day, but there was also 2,000 perfect 10s. So we know that review bombing has happened, despite the fact that the media wants to paint it only as negative review bombing. It has been both negative and positive. You can see skill up right here. This is basically everything you're seeing right now online, save for a few outliers, and we'll talk about that. Makes me so happy to see social media awash with love and praise for Ghost of Tsushima. Just wholesome shit on every timeline in every comment section. Really S with the doom scrolling algorithm, and I'm here for it. People, like I said, people are loving the hell out of this game. Look at Sunny Legend, what he put out. This is actually a pretty awesome little GIF. We should really just watch this so you can get a little bit of an idea of what you can do in this game when you gather all of these, finally when you gather everything that you have in your arsenal. And, you know, you make a point to make it cinematic as hell. Look at this. God, I have only played about 3 or 4 hours of this game, and I don't want to put it down because it is fun as hell. That's what a game should be. It's almost like people want to have fun. People want escapism when they play these games. They don't want it to be a slog. They don't want it to tell you how bad of a person you are because of cycle of violence. They don't want to see what they gave us in The Last of Us Part 2. I mean, and it's pretty obvious that you weren't supposed to have fun in this game, according to Neil Druckmann. We don't use the word fun, says Last of Us 2 director Neil Druckmann. It is so funny how different these two games are. And it's just a wash in positive praise by gamers. Forget about the critics. By people who are actually playing the game. People who pay to play the game, not people who are paid to play the game. You see upper echelon gaming here, right? There are a couple people. Ghost of Tsushima is super fun. Good exploration, rewarding combat, interesting upgrades, progression. The camera is frustrating sometimes, but overall a very fun first 7 hours. Of course, there's a couple people that respond like this. Really hope you enjoy the cultural appropriation, middle finger. And of course, when a Japanese themed game comes out and Japanese critics media love it and the only people screeching are Twitter users with pronouns in the bio, well, you know where this is going. And you can see Ghost of Tsushima is being praised by all the Japanese critics, getting incredible reviews. Because guess what? Japanese people just want a good game too. All the politics, all the agenda, they don't care about any of that. They don't care about any of the stuff that all the Western games want to try to shove into everything, just like The Last of Us Part 2. All they want is a great game, and Ghost of Tsushima is a great game. And there's another difference as well between what happened in The Last of Us Part 2 and what is happening with Ghost of Tsushima. We know that Neil Druckmann, we know what he's come out and said against fans that don't like his game, calling them bigots, calling them homophobes, all of that stuff. Oh, if you don't like it, get out of here. We don't need you. And of course, even on official critic reviews, Sony representative questioned one outlet's review of The Last of Us 2. Vice's Rob Zachney says a Sony representative contacted him after he reviewed The Last of Us Part 2 to dispute some of the review's critical arguments. They said, we don't agree with your review of The Last of Us Part 2. Interesting. Let's see what Ghost of Tsushima is doing. Ghost of Tsushima creative director reacts to reviews. I love criticism. It's just going to make us better. Says the team will look at it, tear it apart, and digest it when it comes to Ghost of Tsushima feedback from players and press. After 6 long years, Ghost has finally landed on PS4. Sucker Punch Productions has spent almost an entire generation cycle crafting its love letter to samurai cinema. So how does it feel now that the game is in the hands of players? Jason Kinel, Ghost of Tsushima's creative and art director, tells me he has been eagerly awaiting feedback from the press and players alike, and he spent the last few days glued to the internet to follow the early reactions. I mean, for me, I look at what people are saying about the game and what people are enjoying about the game. There's a couple threads that are all just like, here's all my photos from photo mode. I'm really proud of what people seem like they are loving about the game because those are the things that I love about the game. So it feels personal and gratifying, and I'm sure our team feels the same way too. I know our team was really rejoiced with the early reaction. Kinel tells me the team is embracing the feedback, both the good and the bad. It is, after all, valuable information. There are criticisms about our game. I love criticism. It's just going to make us better, you know? We're going to look at it, tear it apart, and digest it. We've been talking about it. I think it's a healthy part of it. We put it out there, and the world can judge it, but we are proudly owning it. We think Ghost of Tsushima is the best game we've ever made. And I think you're going to find a lot of people that agree. At least a lot of people who actually play these games for fun and because they enjoy them, not because they're trying to do it for some website, not because they're doing it to try to maintain access to someone, or not giving it a positive review simply for the messages that it's trying to send, regardless of the gameplay. Ghost of Tsushima is blowing so many people away, and it's so refreshing to have a game like this that I can sit down that is really incredibly made, really well crafted, and very fun. I don't want to put my controller down right now. It doesn't feel like a grind. It feels perfectly balanced, as Thanos would say. And I'm really enjoying Ghost of Tsushima. It is everything that we should have had with The Last of Us Part 2, from what's actually in the game, what's being pushed in the game, which is nothing in Ghost of Tsushima, and the reaction from the studio to criticism. Now, I do think it should be rated higher by the critics on Metacritic. I think we all know there's a reason why some people aren't giving it those good scores, and why they did give it to The Last of Us Part 2, but it's going to be interesting to see the Metacritic score when it comes out and what it says. Is there going to be any campaign from the fans of The Last of Us Part 2 to try to down drive that Metacritic user score? I personally think there will be. I'll be keeping an eye on Gaming Circle Jerk. I'll be keeping an eye on The Last of Us Reddit to see if there's anything like that going on. They want to make sure that The Last of Us 2 is a lock for Game of the Year, and I am really hoping personally that that doesn't happen. The Last of Us 2 is such a divisive game. I do not believe it should be Game of the Year, especially when you're seeing the reaction to Ghost of Tsushima and the overwhelming positivity from actual players, not critics. And we also have Cyberpunk coming at the end of the year, so not all hope is lost. Let me know what you think about this. Have you been playing Ghost of Tsushima at all? I would highly recommend it. I'm having such a good time. I can't wait to play more of it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I will talk to you later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. I'll talk to you guys later.